never seen that target yet.
You or your loved ones may be suffering from CFD. There's nothing you can do to help them, just smile and nod and say, wow, that's crazy, and carry on with your day. Today we have another deposit from Andrew Vachon, who keeps supplying me with esoteric oddities, and I keep enabling his degenerate collecting habits. It's a textbook abusive relationship, but in this economy, sacrifices must be made. For a while now, I've been playing around with the Leupold Mark IV MRT 2.5 to 8x36 TMR rifle scope, which is outdated and silly, but because the United States Marine Corps slapped the TS-30A2 version on the M38 DMR variant of the M27, which go hard as by the way. Now collectors will track down this scope with the correct BDC turrets because the military-industrial complex's propaganda go burr. I also have the Nightforce NXS 2.5 to 10x42, which is less outdated but still missing features most people want for this market segment. Interestingly, there was a compact version of the NXS 2.5 to 10x24, which looks like an NX8, that saw some service in the Navy SEALs SPR program as well as on the NSWC Recce rifle system. That's a step too far in the direction of wacky for me, but for the substance smuggling SEAL soliciting silly solutions, it's right up their alley. Now that's just nerd bait, so some Reddit tier cloner can correct me in the comments down below and I can farm engagement. Starting out with the Mark IV MRT or TS-30A2 clone, this was built for a simpler time when you needed lightweight, durable magnification to dome room temp IQ combatants at medium range. In that respect, the Mark IV is fine. But in current year, it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of features. Speaking of features, this is a second focal plane, 2.5 to 8x optic, which is a smaller magnification range than even the cheapest of modern optics, and in second focal plane would be laughed out of the Vortex Venom lineup. For turrets, we have half MOA adjustments, 30 MOA per revolution, 0 stop, and unfortunately they are not locking turrets, and the clicks are very mushy, which would be a big miss for a modern scope. Very interesting on these turrets is they have a built-in BDC on the turrets themselves, for in this case 168 grain CR matchings, though the USMC variants were set up for 77 grain Mark 262 sent from their HK delivery systems. That's kind of neat to have your speed dope built into your turrets, and really the only quote-unquote cool feature they offer. One weird confliction that used to be super common for a time is that the reticle is a mill-based reticle, while the turrets and BDC are an MOA. Since the average Marine isn't much more intelligent than their opposition, I imagine they would simply dial their turrets till the number their spotter called out appeared, rather than do math with mills, since the crayon to mill conversion chart is a little more complex, shall we say.
Write that down, write that down!
On the left-hand side of the body, we don't have a parallax adjustment, which is annoying, but for 600 yards and in, with only 8x magnification on the top end, it can get away with it, even if it does hold it back a little bit. The magnification ring has a little self-conscious size nub for extra grip, and a very short 90-ish degree throw from 2.5 to 8. These are illuminated with a canted battery tray and rotary dial to keep the elevation turret mostly in view. The illumination has 8 settings, with an off at the beginning and end and in between each setting, and the dial has a hard stop at each extreme, so you can't go directly from 1 to 8. At the back, we have a diopter for adjusting the reticle to your eyes. Take that, coggers. One thing that is excellent about the Mark IV is that the weight is about 16 ounces flat, which is great for basically any scope out there. The irony, of course, is that this was slapped on a metabolically challenged M27, which for no reason at all reminds me of this image. Now, it's still missing parallax, locking turrets, a real magnification range, but at least the weight's good. Getting into glass characteristics, we have about 3.5 inches of eye relief throughout the magnification range, decent eye box, the field of view is only rated at 36 feet at 2.5x magnification at 100 yards, which is poor. The Nightforce has it by about 35% in terms of area. The image itself is good, Leupold has good glass, the image is bright, punchy, the details are okay, edge to edge looks good, and it seems relatively flat and natural looking. Is it the greatest glass of all time? No, I think the effective resolution is lower than something like the Nightforce, but it's going to outclass more modern budget scopes. But this isn't a budget scope. New a decade ago, they were like $1,500, now on the secondhand market they are one, hard to find, and the ones that I did find were north of $2,000. But a real TS-30A2 with the clone correct arms mounts might fetch a much higher asking price. But being an autistic gun enthusiast suffering from CFD ain't a game for poors. It's a neat little scope, a novelty, and it might scratch that itch, but it's not a great option in the modern landscape. Now on the Nightforce, which somehow isn't much better, we have more magnification, being 10x on the top end, still second focal plane though. We have side adjusting parallax and the glass is pretty darn good, but we still don't have locking turrets and they're very easy to adjust on their own. We did lose illumination, which isn't the biggest deal, and the more 30 reticle is still less useful than what comes standard on a $400 Athlon or Vortex Venom. Don't get me wrong, it's relatively light at 20 ounces, good to great glass, durable, and American. But I wouldn't buy one. Not having locking turrets is a deal breaker for me personally. Anecdotally, on a range trip when moving from position to position, at some point in the course of a couple of hours, the turrets had been inadvertently adjusted by a considerable margin.
I need to check. I think something might have come loose on here.
Maybe that's because I carry my rifles by the scope body with a grip akin to a retard holding the last brew crayon. Like a McDonald's American holding a McChicken. Like a black man holding something that isn't his. Like a Redditor clutching his pearls at that joke. Relax, liberal, it's called dark humor. And if you are actually upset, I want you to know that that last joke was written by a black man. Just kidding, I don't hire black people. Tangent aside, if you love your Nightforce, there's a lot to like, and you are supporting Americans more directly rather than almost slave labor overseas. We have a much wider magnification range, 2.5 to 10, which is good enough for most things, 5.56. We have a massive improvement in FOV, better glass quality, and a side parallax adjustment. Now, the NXS is still not a feature-complete product, missing illumination and better reticle options, which to me is ridiculous for a $1,500 price tag. These are both relics of a similar era, as they're both old enough now to be on order from your political representatives. Well, maybe too old, actually. You would think this price bracket, more than a decade later, would be filled with feature-complete mid-range optics from the likes of Trijicon, Nightforce, and Leupold. Ironically, it seems like the budget scopes at around $400 to $600 are feature-complete, but of lower quality and made in less desirable places. The mid-range scopes north of $1,000 have a reduced feature set, but better glass and a more desirable country of origin. And to get the best of both worlds, you're looking to double, triple, or quadruple the price tag of these options. Maybe in another decade when these scopes are old enough to vote but haven't yet hit the wall, the mid-range MPVO can be a real market segment. I genuinely love the idea of MPVOs and I think they're great for a lot of things, but every time I'm not shooting them from a stable position at extended ranges, I would rather just have something else, but I think that's correlated to the weapons that these are usually put on. That's probably a topic for another video on the synergy between rifles, optics, and their use case. As far as these MPVOs go, they are wacky, weird, a mixture of outdated, feature-poor, and cost-rich, but a neat little side tangent from the vast array of horrors on this channel. Thanks for watching, I will see you in the next one. This is a threat, God bless.
I call that the ping special. You can hear the spring and the front end both twinging.
Boink. Okay, there's 3. Oh, I got.
Yep. Yep.
Was it actually 2?
Yep, that was 2.
I forgot. So for that second target, I didn't adjust my dial, so I literally held underneath. I was like, I hope this is right.
That's actually what I did.
Yeah. Well, and then for the third one, I just dialed without looking. I just sent it down and was like, I hope that's close.